live.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, I come before you wounded in body but unbroken in spirit to narrate a harrowing ordeal I endured and to strongly condemn the cowardly act of political violence and state-sponsored intimidation directed at me. My name is Njohi, popularly known as Councilor Njohi. I am an aspirant in the Kinangop parliamentary seat in the 2027 general election. On the evening of 8th March 2026, on the eve of the Olkalau DCP party primaries, I was brutally abducted in Olkalau while continuing to openly support our party's candidate and aspirant, Honorable Sami Ngodho. As I interacted with supporters, a gang of over 15 armed gun-wielding men descended on the area. They fired several rounds of ammunition into the air to disperse the crowd that had gathered in an attempt to rescue me. Despite my vigorous resistance, I was overpowered, subjected to unimaginable violence, and forcibly bundled into an awaiting vehicle. I was handcuffed and driven towards Nairobi in excruciating pain. Throughout the terrifying journey, my abductors continuously threatened me with death and castration. They probed me on my role in the DCP party and the Olkalau elections in between. They repeatedly demanded that I pledge allegiance to the President, William Ruto, cease all criticism of his regime, and swear the two-term oath. Their message was clear: stop supporting the right candidates and bow to the regime or face elimination. In a thicket in Limuru, the order escalated. A well-known female member of parliament, whose identity is known to me and will be revealed in a few minutes, was awaiting. She personally slapped me, used scissors to forcibly shave my hair, stripped me completely naked, and took humiliating photographs of my naked body. She demanded that I respect this regime. I remained silent and dignified throughout this degrading and heinous ordeal. In addition, I was stabbed in the buttocks with a pair of scissors. After approximately 2 hours of physical and psychological torture, I was thrown into the back of the vehicle like a sack of potatoes. My captors drove me further, declaring their intention to kill me. They dumped me in Mafutata area. With the help of compassionate good Samaritans, I managed to reach my Mahio, where I immediately reported the matter at my Mahio police station and OB number 030905 of 2026. This was not a random criminal act. It was a well-orchestrated, politically motivated abduction and torture aimed at silencing an independent voice and punishing me for refusing to abandon my political convictions and support for the people's preferred candidate. The involvement of state agents, the use of firearms, the participation of a sitting female lawmaker, and the specific demands to swear allegiance to a regime all point to a dangerous pattern of authoritarian intimidation. I unequivocally condemn this barbaric violation of my fundamental human rights, the Constitution of Kenya, and the rule of law. Such acts of thuggery have no place in a democratic society. They represent a return of the dark days of political repression and must be rejected by all peace-loving Kenyans. I call upon the Inspector General of Police and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to immediately launch a thorough, independent and transparent investigation into this abduction and torture. The Office of the DPP to ensure all perpetrators, including the female lawmaker and the state actors involved, are arrested and prosecuted. To all Kenyans of goodwill who stood with me and called for my release, thank you. Kindly continue to stand with me against this growing culture of political violence. I remain resolute in my commitment to serve the people of Kinangop and Kenya. No amount of intimidation and torture or humiliation will deter me from pursuing a just, accountable, and people-centered leadership. My ordeal has only strengthened my resolve. I thank the good Samaritans who came to my rescue and all those who reached out with messages of solidarity. Justice will prevail. Democracy will not be silenced. Asante sana. Hayo ndio maneno ambayo ilinifanyikia, na I want to say it here clearly. I know who did that to me. Moses Kuria supervised and orchestrated my abduction and delivered me to the hands of Betty Minor, the women rep for Murang'a. She is the one who personally shaved me, stripped me naked, squeezed my private parts, took humiliating photos of me. I identified her and asked her by name, Betty Gachagua'S, and she was very scared about it. At the time of abduction, I was with these two friends of mine. His name is Harun. He was our driver for the day. And here is Crossed, a friend of mine whom we go way back. We were abducted at around 7:02 in the evening. We were just driving around Olkarau town. However, after my recollections of the events of the day and the previous day, I have come to realize that I actually survived the abductions almost some 20 hours earlier. On Thursday, at around 11:45, I remember that evening we had dinner with Shaban Njohi, Wamboi Nyoto, a friend of mine by the name Garoya from Gatondo North, JJ Morege. We had dinner on Thursday evening and left a nyama choma eatery joint called Makuti at around 11:45. Then my friend, this guy here, his name is Joroge, and I and Garuya and another guy by the name Ben decided to shift to a different location and have one more beer for the road. However, I decided to enter a hotel in town called 818 and say hi to a friend and have a small talk. I have gone to that 818 hotel and I have reviewed the CCTV footage for that evening. At around 11:58 in the PM, that is when I entered 818 hotel. However, I did not realize I'm being trailed. Right behind me is a Subaru, a gray Subaru. That around three guys, one hooded and two others, very huge, followed me immediately. I entered the hotel, talked to whoever I was talking to, walked out. At the point of walking out, I was speaking to Joroge and I was telling him, hapa sio mbere. When I stepped out of this hotel, one of my abductors to be was there. And he talked to me, akaniambia na hapa ni mbere. We had a small exchange of words, like for 3 seconds. I noticed, unajua jamaa he puffed himself. Nikajua hapa, au jamaa kona maneno. Now, because me, I never wanted to confront anyone, I just walked out. Outside the gate of that hotel, I found the OCS for Olkarau, Madam Wairimo, and some officers there, about 6 or so officers, and a Land Cruiser there, standing outside the gate. And the OCS stopped me. And she asked, Njohi, mbona unapiga kelele? I told her, mimi sijapiga kelele, ni huyu jamaa ako hapa, amesema hapa sio mbele. Na mimi nikamwambia ni kweli hapa sio mbele, maneno itatendeka vile tunataka sababu hapa ni nyumbani. I noticed these officers wenye wako na huyu OCS wameanza kupanuka kidogo like they want to surround me. Now at this point it's me, Njoroge and a friend of mine called Ben. So mimi nikachomoka nikajipea shughuli. Unknown to me, as this is going on, Moses Kuria is walking out of this hotel. Now I have seen the CCTV footage, all of it. Moses Kuria is walking out of this hotel together with my to-be abductors, one of the hooded guys, and everyone else. I've seen their faces. They came to the OCS and confronted her. Actually, they're asking her, why, how comes I have escaped that dragnet? Then they exchanged words for some time. A civilian who was standing by and who heard everything that was being said there actually told them, sasa mnauliza Njohi nini na hananga ubaya na mtu. The guy was clubbed senselessly by the cops. So Moses Kuria amesimama hapo supervising, and the OCS ameweka tu mkono kwa mfuko and her cops. Maskari wake wako hapo. They never did a thing to rescue this guy. Another one was beaten. This is TV footage, I have seen it. All of it, it's there. So when I entered a neighboring club there, these guys never pursued me into that club. However, Moses Kuria called me at 12:46 in the AM He called me at 12:46 in the AM and asked me, Njohi, kwani uko wapi? Kamwambia mimi waziri niko hapa chini tu mahali hapa hapo mahali yuko niko hapa chini. And he told me, asikuja tupige story hapa. I told her, Moses, I cannot come to you. Wewe kuja mahali niko. Akakata simu. Sisi tukacharaza vitu zangu na ule jamaa and went home. Hii majamaa wa Subaru, they had 2 Subarus. The camera inaonyesha vizuri, they left the scene at around 11:30. So the next day, they trailed me the entire day. And in fact, I think kitu inaitwa dhamiria mtu. I told Crossed at some point, na hii my conscience, na hii gari yangu nimeacha pale, sitaikujia hiyo gari italala hapo. There is this guy and this guy, na wanatuongelesha na zile story wanatupea, they don't make sense. Wanaweza kutuambia, hey, naona ground mko sawa, lakini huko pande ya Gorika, huko muangalie. I look, mimi nikiangalia hao majamaa hivi, I told Cross, these guys are not friendly people. Those guys were standing near my car the whole day. I have reviewed CCTV footages of 3 establishments around the 818 hotel, the car wash, and another club there, and 818. On the day of my abduction, the to-be abductors had trailed us to a place called Rolie. They followed us to a place called Tumaini. However, we were not so much alarmed because we were in a convoy of many vehicles. They had tried all means of where to catch me, but unfortunately, I was always on the move and with people. Unfortunately, that evening, tukaingia Kachochoro. We were just doing small mobilization, tukaingia Kachochoro. And that is where they waylaid us, wakafunga barabara. They fired many rounds of ammunition in the air to disperse people. It was chaotic. It was chaotic. However, I want to tell them this way. Moses Kuria and Betty Maina, holding naked photos of myself is not leverage. It is cowardice. You cannot shame a shameless person. I have been naked before in front of very many women. So, publishing photos of me naked is not something that can worry me. You need to understand, some of us come from very far to get where we are. I understand the risks of politics and the rewards. And these are things that I am ready for. Whatever you are holding is not leverage, my friends. It's cowardice. Publish them today. Publish them. That is not something that you can blackmail me with. Secondly, I'm very happy that I have known who my true enemies are. Those who have known me long enough will tell you one thing. Me, I don't carry grudges, wrath, vengeance, or hatred. I believe these are very heavy burdens to carry in one's heart. Mimi huwanga mtu roho safi sana. However, on this case, it's very exceptional. I know my enemies by name, and I'll carry I'm ready to carry this wrath to the last sunset of me on this earth. I know you by name, Moses Kuria and Betty Maina. And I'm very grateful for this new state-sponsored hairstyle. You can see it, the way it looks. I'm not going to shave it. I will wear it proudly, like a golden diadem. I will go to every village in Kinangop, Nyadaro and beyond, and I'll tell the people, it is Moses Kuria and Betty Maina who did this to me in attempt to silence me and shame me. It will not work for you guys the way you want it. I will proudly carry this new hairstyle. The only thing that you've managed to do is to evict me from the commonwealth of the unshaven. However, I'll stay rough like this, like a rough diamond. I have looked at photos of past liberators, the guys who fought for Mau Mau, General Baimungi, General Mwaliama, even Kemathi himself. They were not handsome-looking guys. They were very tough-looking guys. They didn't come with dimples and soft skins. They were battle-hardened. Same case here. I will maintain this look. I will go to all funerals and tell the people, ni Betty na Moses Kuria nifanyia hivi na serikali, wakitaka niseme 2 term. And you can see the way they have shaved me. They were not there. You would imagine a donkey was grazing on my head. Jua punda anakula hapa, anauma pale kwingine. There's an illustration of how this failed administration does their thing. They are not known to complete any project. They could not even give me a decent shave. Lakini itakaa hivyo. The only people, by the way, who may have robbed something so much by saving me and my children because they loved that hair.
Perhaps you can tell us what actions are you...
My children loved that hair. Yes. They played with it a lot. They plaited it. Hata wakati nilifika nyumbani on Sunday, they asked, hey, baba umenyoa? Nikamwambia, na nani amekunyoa vibaya hivyo? I looked them in the eye, I told them, ni Ruto ameninyoa. This is administration. He's the one who has donated power, veto power, to reckless humans. Donating power to Moses Kuria and Betty Maina is like handing a gun to a baboon. This is some people who think an animal that can shoot recklessly and anyhow. But anyway, I'm fine with it. As for the police and the criminal justice system, I have very little faith in it and whether they actually do anything. Those who have followed me long enough, you know very well I'm not very religious. There are many ways of seeking justice, and the unconventional ones are actually the best. I'll carry the burden in my heart. I will seek alternative justice resolution mechanisms, dispute resolution mechanisms, and I pray to God that He gives me a long life and keeps those characters alive for long. Tutakuwa tu na wao hapa. Thank you. I don't think I have anything else to add apart from saying I'm grateful to my friends and colleagues in the struggle. I'm grateful to Honorable Gachagua'S, our party leader. He came through very well. Him and his team took care of the taxi that drove me from the bushes to my Mahio and sorted out the medical bill. Grateful to our comrades in the struggle, Senator Medho, Wanjiku Mohea, Senator Murango. They made a lot of noise and escalated this thing and made sure the whole country knows I've been abducted. I also want to thank Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who called me yesterday and gave me words of encouragement. Luckily, I had met him last week. We had breakfast with him last week with my hair. And now he was wondering, this new look, how do I live with it? I told him I'm okay. The things I do does not require me to look handsome. Yes, I'm not going to any office to serve anyone. Mimi ni mtu wa kiwanja. And this look, this is the right costume for what I do. I will use it rightly. Thank you. Toguo ndauga nĩ ndanyitirwo mĩgwate mũthenya wa Friday, na ndanyitirwo mĩgwate nĩ andũ njũĩ, nĩ andũ a thirikari, na kĩrĩa tũmarĩ na bata nakĩo nĩ kũnjonora, kũnyenja njuĩrĩ yakwa, njuĩrĩ ĩrarĩ thaka mũno ya gĩtungati, arĩa maronete kahinda ga kũmĩona ĩrarĩ njuĩrĩ thaka mũno, na uguo gwicira no guo ndore marakĩachivire na gũkĩhũra mbica ndĩ njaga ũrĩa ti ũndũ mũnene anyway ũcio ti ũndũ niĩ wa kũmakia marĩa ngereire nĩ maingĩ gũkĩra macio no wega nĩ atĩ arĩa manjĩkire ũguo rĩ nĩ andũ njũĩ na marĩtwa na ti andũ ageni harĩ niĩ no njuge mĩtugo ĩyo ĩkuo ya kũguoyohia andũ nĩ ũndũ wa mĩrũgamo yao ya gĩũteti ti mĩtugo mĩega. Now when that culture of violence goes on, tutaharibu nchi. Tũgũthũkia bũrũri by the way nĩ ũndũ wa mĩtugo ĩyo ya bara. Tondũ gũgĩtuĩka rĩu mũteti wothe rĩu arĩceraga na nyanake rĩ. Ng'ani acere na nyanake, ũyũ ũngĩ acere na nyanake, na niĩ njethe ciakwa. Rĩrĩa ciaca cia 2027 igathira na andũ macoke mawĩra rĩ. Nyanake icio igacoka irore naku. Nyanake icio nĩcio igũcoka ituĩke mĩkora ya kũiya andũ gũkũ. Njuge gũkũ Nyandarũa na muno gwitũ Kinangobu nĩgũkoretwo na ũici mũingĩ mũno wa ng'ombe. Thigari cia kũnyita aici a ng'ombe na kũmaratha gũtirĩ, no thigari cia kũnyitana na rithathi cia kũmakia andũ nĩguo mehere, nĩguo niĩ nyitwo rĩ, rithathi icio ciĩho. Thirikari ĩno ĩho ya mũndũ gwĩtwo Kasongo is misusing national resources. Tũhũthĩra thigari kũrangĩra Kenya, ti kũguoyohia Kenya. Nĩndĩmere ũũ kũrĩ cuma ithegethaga iria ingĩ. Kunyitana kunyenja na kuhura mbica ndĩ njaga rĩ ti kĩndũ kĩngĩtũma njenjie mĩrũgamo yakwa ya gĩũteti. In fact ona nĩ kũrũra makĩria. Nĩ kũrũra makĩria. Ona mũratirakĩhumbire thũmbĩ njega mũno ya gũthi kũrĩ andũ. Rĩu ndĩthiaga kũrĩ andũ na thũmbĩ ĩno, niĩ ndingĩconoka. Cia thoni cia mũndũ nĩ ikoragwo igoti. Ndĩthiaga mbere ya andũ na njuĩrĩ ĩno, ũguo ũrona. na mundu ajuria niki muthuri waikara uguo ri ngamera u niguo wira wa murata guo Ruto Moses Kuria na Beti ino niyo thirikari iria mwathurire yukite guku guo ekuithitie Bible mwathurire thirikari arog regime niyo ijikite yo na no nginya tumicenjie so igitigiconoko ino ni thumbi marahumbire na no akiona Ngai ni akindathimite ndina mbue kiongo kiri mbue kiragwo ni thumbi ya Ngai maundu maya ni tugithitangite magugwi borithi so far kuma riria twatwarire renda kwa reportirwo haha Karau na ngiribota mai mahiu guti undu no mwe thigari citu ciekite guti mundu no urahurira kunjuria niki kirathie na mbere so ndigwiciria ati kuri undu munene ati borithi na cingiteithia na maundu taya mane maundu magi uteti na maundu magi uteti mandiragwo na mogi uteti na wega ndakimenya ni amanjikite uguo koguo ni kaundu ndandika kihengere-ini giakwa kia ngoro Guciria na thuria nao no mearie Crossed has his story to tell and this guy has his story to tell.
Lakini asirudie hiyo story.
Jero gatia.
Hapa.
Nela.
Unajikale hapo.
Haya. No nyongere kaundu kamwe njuge atiriri and this is for the life there. You know, we have been making fun that buttocks don't heal easily. Hata mimi nimeandika hiyo, we've been making fun that holding the buttocks does not heal easily. I want to tell you it is true. These guys punched me with scissors. I have a wound, 2 wounds that are almost 2 inches deep. And I don't know how long it will take to heal. Lakini nitajikaza tu. The things they did to me are so horrendous. These are things that almost even eroded into my masculinity. If I told you what I'm wearing on my back here to arrest the bleeding, you will not believe it. The things I'm using, because conventional dressing, wood dressing cannot work. My wife had to become creative to find other ways of arresting that bleeding. Lakini, ipo siku. Oh. Ndirauga atiriri mane tukenaga muno rimwe tukiuga ati mundu ni ate mona guku thutha tukauga nyunjure nduhonaga oro ucio ti wa itheru ni wama andu acio mathecire na magathi ndina marima meri makwe injigiri kuhatira magathi uguo magatonya ndugana ni Ngai ndi murathime ndina nyama na kironda kiu kuhona ngwiciria ti horo muhuthu tondu kuma riria ndathondekeirwo o kuria mai mahiu nginya riu no kiraura ona bandage cia kawaida ti nyamu cingihota kunyitirira thakame ira rauma handu hau tiga mutumia akwa ri ndagitari agithondeka ito ingi hau itagitinda angigweta nikironda kiuru muno no anyway such scars tugaga muti wa wiyathi nduitagiririo mai ta mboga it is watered by blood na wiyathi uria tukuona I am happy to contribute my blood to it. Thank you very much.
Mali twajeta George Kirogo na wa mbere he maritwa njitagwo John Kirogo kana Crossed ucio muraigwa Njohi akigweta hau niki itaramuhonokia no nindirakionire njira njega ya kumuhonokia ni kuoya video iyo na ingiraririe hau thigari icio no ingiranjoira nacio thimu iyo na Njohi gukinyagia umuthi tutigire nake haha koguo Njohi turamwira pole no ni ngugo thigari angikorwo no ihuthire thigari makiria ma 15 na makari maingi moke kunyita mundu nigetha mathie mamwenjeri ndikuga thirikari eno ni yagite bata na ndiramenya uri ereka so tutigo intimidatwo ni tuguthi na mbere kuruirira bururi uyu witu otoria maithe maitu na maguka maitu maruirire koguo Councilor Njohi hamwe na ithuothe tukunyitana na all goodwill people who love this country turuirire bururi witu twita yuthi twita athuri na atumia. Koguo turera thirikari kunyita Njohi tikuga ati ni mwatunyita ithuothe. Ona mwenda guturaga ni muke muturage, no ithu tukurugama na murugamo umwe wa kunyitira bururi uyu witu. Asante. Tukwira IG atiriri. Ni twathitwo miaka 24 yari na mitangiko na thina. Na kaundu kau niko IG arenda gucokia thiini wa bururi uyu. Kuhuthira thigari citu na administration ko intimidate a Kenya. Koguo IG tukwira u gutire mundu turaga ta ihiga. O mundu ni ari muthenya wake na muthenya witu no uri kinya.
Tukanya bejuge kaundu kamwe ka mwisho ri. Demurakaru muno no mane marakara magwaka bururi ti maguthukia. Gutire bureta kiaga. One of the things that iheaga urume thiini wa muturire uyu is that tukorwo turumireire mutongoria nake wi urume na ni atwiraga kaingi muno ita ria mburi ritongoretio ni miruthi no ritorie ita ria miruthi ritongoretio ni mburi. We are following a very courageous leader uguo twori gati wa Gachagua mundu wina urume na ithuĩ thigari ciake tutingigia guoya tutongoretio ni njamba karau na ndimere ũũ. The people who will come to Olkarau by elections for the campaigns must understand that this is not an ordinary election. This is war. If you are a coward, stay away from Olkarau. Stay away from Olkarau. It is a do or die for either side. Na tunajua that is why this kind of intimidation you are seeing it around. Si tuko ngumu. Walete, wakuja tuko tayari. Tuko tayari. We are ready for any eventuality. Hapa hakuna muoga. Hapa ni nyumbani. Si ati tutatoa hapa utupeleke mahali ingine. If you terminate us on this soil, tuko nyumbani. Tuko nyumbani. Maundu maya mothe muthuri murata ndakwira atiriri ni maundu magi uteti. Andu aya maguite ri tugikauma haha tukinye o kuri ari muru ri na ku ngorongo thiini to nikuo mathire kunjikira maundu macio moru ri ndirageikara agiragwo umuthi no ugukua no utanakua ni ukorwo ugite tutam tutuni tu ukoragwo gicora twa munene wa bururi ni ukoretwo gicora tutuni turu muno na matu manene. Then I was wondering how fragile is this man's ego. Gatuni ni gatamuka ndikanya muga gutuma mundu arakare to that point wambie kunyita mundu uyo kasi ya sainire. Learn to restrain yourself. Na ni by the way gihuraga siasa very decent. Me, I don't attack people with their families or mawathe mao. I'm a very decent critic. I know the limits. Koguo it is no kwenda kuguoya hia tu mundu. Ndwetoro mundu ena mbica yaku njaga kwiraga ehe riu waka ukire kana tucirekererie matirekererie giko.
Hello. Okay, hama ritwa ni Harun Njuguna, mwikari wa guku Olkarau. Juge maundu maria turona makihanika ri, this is an act of cowardice and you are not going to buy into that. It was barely 30 minutes kuma twaria na Njohi tuge atiriri thirikari ni ireke andu akarau meke githurano giki hatari na maundu ma political intimidation. Riona tukiingiraga street kau ati tukiariria andu ri ona ni ndauga ni ngari ya support gitu iroka gutwariria. Little did I know of the things that were waiting this particular man. No me ni kaundu gabangitwo maumire ngari mamwirite atiriri shuka wewe ngari ni twina crossed tutioririo kioria no kina ndarigirwo atiriri kaikiro na itetu ciihuthu atia tondu ria ndarutirwo gitiini kiu ona Njohi ndangikwira ndario kaikiro tu na itetu ciihuthu atia tondu ndakihuririo ta tugaya ni ngima hiyo very fast no ngagikena tondu gitungati gi sawa ndoga atiriri guku Karau si mbere. Hapa wakubali tupange mambo ya Olkarau. Mambo ya Olkarau itapangwa na watu wa Olkarau. mwena ko nja ni muronire the low turnout ya UDA ri mukianjia kuga ni Njohi watumire gukorwo na low turnout ya nomination cia nyure kai Njohi akine hinya uri kucio. He's just a supporter from Kinangop kuja kuangalia mambo ya DCP, mambo inaendelea vipi na mambo iko sawa. Na uri ukaudoka okoneka mwekira guoya ri mutikionete maundu ngojea finali hapa itachemka. Olkalau wanajua kujipanga na mambo ya Olkalau itapangwa na watu Olkalau. Ogo no guga mutikaigwe mwena guoya. Keep going, keep pushing. We will do whatever it calls us to do. Andu akarau ni join moyo uria murenda gwika na githurano giki ni mutuete matua, tutapatana kwa ground, bado tunasikiza ground. Na mambo ya Olkalau tutawapangia kama watu wa Olkalau. Asanteni sana.
That is enough. Hiyo iko sawa. Thank you brother.
Very nice.
Lakini wakakata